when you look at what the Lord does, there are times that He puts us into difficult situations and hard times because that's what's best for us at the time, and He knows what's best for us. Some would not call that love, but that's real love.
You know, I have a good example of that. My son was really on the wrong road for quite some time, and I was afraid to give him that tough love because I thought he would just totally pull away from me and I'd never see him again.
That's always our fear.
Yeah.
It's always our fear.
Gail and I, my wife and I, discussed this, and I finally just got the cojones to say what needs to be said and move in the proper direction. It has actually brought him closer to me. So it's the right move. I totally agree with you.
It's a horrible thing to have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's very hard.
I've never come to the point where I've had to kick anybody out, but boy, there have been times that I have had to have some. I need your lighter too.
You think it would have worked?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
You never know.
Different personalities and how you approach it.
I never backed down from my kids. They always heard what I had to say. I wasn't afraid of it. My dad was like that. That's where I grew up. So we get my kids all we get along great now. They're all 40 to 26, and they're all successful. And
It takes them a while to learn.
to
Realize it.
Yeah. Things that they didn't understand back then, they do now.
And I'll tell you what, having a holiday get-together with family where there is peace and love is a wonderful thing. Having a holiday get-together where there is strife is horrible.
Absolutely.
No question.
My son, he doesn't want to come up. We have about 50 in my daughter's house, but one of the families, come from New York, and they're a little bit different. And they like to smoke.
You get a cigar?
No, I gotta have
Like you guys.
Yeah.
But
You sound okay to us.
I know, but my
Say
son, he
what?
hates smoke.
Yeah.
He won't,
Take
he's so desperate he wants to go
That's the
away.
one
And I won't
block.
let him. Because, well, love is a lot different than discarding people's behavior.
Anything notable in the bag?
Yes.
It's more like
There's a lesson in that.
Put one there.
Yeah, grab one for me.
Good with politics as well.
You
He's
pick.
so funny.
Let's see here.
Yeah, love the other side.
17:3, the crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. This note says it takes intense heat
I got
to
a bunch of
purify
those.
gold and silver. Similarly,
Dark.
it often takes the heat of trials for the Christians to be purified. Through trials, God shows us what is in us and clears out anything that gets in the way of complete trust in Him. Peter says, these have come so that the proven genuineness, your faith, or of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. So when tough times come your way, realize that God wants to use them to refine your faith and purify your heart. And I think we all understand that.
And faith is never really true until it's been tried. You can say, I have faith all you want, but when it gets tried, you're going to find out whether you've really got faith.
Another way of testing is found in James, 1st chapter. It says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. And let patience have her perfect work, and you may be perfect and entire, wanting in nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So patience and wisdom comes from trials that you have. I shouldn't say I never, but I had a difficult time when it says counting it
Count it
and
all
all joy when you fall into temptation. If you stop and think about that, the falling into temptations strengthens your heart and your faith in God that He's going to provide a way out for you. He doesn't give us anything that we don't have the strength or a way out. He provides a way out for it.
That was James what?
James, first chapter, verses 2 through 5.
2 through 5?
2 through 5.
I love James.
James is a book we ought to, have we done that?
Yes.
I'll give you another little example about, have you ever ridden a bicycle and seen a big rock in the road? And how do you avoid that rock? By watching it?
No.
If you look at that rock and keep your eyes on it, focus on it, you're going to run into the rock. If you realize that the rock is there, then you can steer the bike away from it.
That's the worst thing about riding a motorcycle.
That's
true
just like
story.
riding a motorcycle. You don't look at the ground, you look out.
Yeah, if you look at that no parking sign going around a corner, you're going to hit it. And I've known people who have done that. You got to concentrate down the road.
No wonder I never got my motorcycle.
Makes sense.
So true. Okay, anything else in 1 through 4, men? All right, 5. Whoever mocks the poor shows contempt for their maker. Whoever gloats over disaster will not go unpunished. Did you drop something, Jim?
Yeah.
What's gloating over disaster like?
Thank you.
What's another word for that?
Gloating?
Would that be like the news people?
That'd be like being happy that
Yeah, when you
California's
gloat,
on fire
you're
right
gonna-
now.
When you mock somebody that's in the
Kind of.
disaster.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying a thing.
Is that a good word, you thinking?
Wow.
You gotta be in politics for that.
Yeah, let's go.
A shrewd, keen application of truth.
Like
for politics.
You know, like if
that'd be
something
wishing
bad happens
disaster on your enemies.
to a current politician, and the other side mocks that, and I've heard that. So they should be very wary of that, and not go unpunished. Some people call that karma.
If a person doesn't believe in God, they probably won't worry about it.
California sometimes.
I saw this young girl go out of
They actually had to postpone
with
and
this
cancel
big sign
sporting
on the
events in
car,
Northern California.
FUCK.
Had to do what?
Sporting events have been canceled in
Oh,
Northern
really?
California.
I can't think of a person in my life who I would ever have seen do something like that.
Especially to put it out, you know, for everybody to see. It's like, really? Wow.
I mean,
Isn't it unbelievable the hate that's,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
out there right now?
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and so do our bumper
this
stickers.
girl might have been,
It's
this
a
girl
conference.
might have been 20, 25 years old. Really? I can't imagine how you would think.
Look at all these celebrities are doing. You know, that's why they do it. All the celebrities are doing it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well, even the politicians.
Children's children are a crown to the aged. Parents are the pride of their children. Children. Children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children.
Our grandkids.
I had a wonderful experience this week. My granddaughter, who lives in the area, actually lives with my daughter. She's 25, she's never had a boyfriend. She finally met a man of God.
Amen.
First thing they did when they decided they were going to date was go to their pastor.
Wow.
Really?
And
Wow.
talk about the ground rules for dating. The second thing they did was come to me. Said, Granddad, we're here for wisdom. She is a precious child of God who is so right on. And we got to meet this gentleman who is so right on. Awesome guy. And we just rejoiced in our hearts because of this precious granddaughter and the steps that she was taking. Just a wonderful thing. Just a real joy.
That's absolutely amazing.
You don't hear
in this
much of
day
that
and age.
anymore.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah.
Actually, I've never heard it at all until now. Wow. Wow.
So why is she is already?
Yes.
Amazing.
25.
Jeez.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Can you
great.
imagine?
Congratulations, Grandpa.
Yeah, Granddad's a happy man.
Cool.
Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much worse lying lips to a ruler? Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much worse lying lips to a ruler?
My word is arrogant lips are unsuited to a fool. How much worse lying lips to a fool.
It says, mine says the modern, it sounds strange for a fool to talk sensibly, but it's even worse for a ruler to tell lies.
So if you don't matter, let it go. But if you're a boss,
You know, comment or lines like that make me quite uncomfortable with our president. You know, as much as I like what he does, I don't like what he does
says.
so often.
What do you know?
Pardon me?
What don't
Are you saying the lying lips or the
Yeah, I think he's a liar.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you think Trump's a liar?
I don't want to go there, but that's just how, you know, we don't need to get into discussion there because I know we're not going to
You just
agree.
talked about the president of the United States.
I'm talking about the president. Well, I am because I think he has lied.
Well, about what?
Well, okay, we don't need to digress. into that.
You did it.
You brought it up.
You started it.
you said, Ron.
All right, next one.
Wow.
Brian.
That was a bad little thing to do.
Throw the bait out until we're ready to fight.
So, all
red
right.
meat.
Do you think he tells the truth, preponderance, or all the time? No.
Who
I
doesn't?
am not
He
able-
said no.
I'm not able to
Who
judge
doesn't
it.
lie once in a while? Nobody.
Well, I don't.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Not to the level that he does.
Well, we don't know whether
Well,
he
it
lies.
depends where your base point is.
It's not very refined, but I'm glad
Well,
to see
a
the
lie would be
non-PC
to
crap that goes on.
Say
I will
something
not
that's
cast the
true.
first stone.
Yeah, tell us one. Give us one.
Strategy, you know.
Because I'll get stoned to death if I try that.
I
Right.
don't want to get into this. I'm sorry.
That's for the cigar
Since you
shop.
brought up the negative.
All right.
That's
I'm
a
sorry.
Churchill's
Sorry
conversation.
that I did.
Since
Forgive
you
me.
brought up the negative, during this past campaign season when he was out stumping for all the candidates, he was doing a speech and somebody passed out. He stopped.
I understand.
He directed help to
And I
that
understand.
woman.
And
And then he said, let's pray for
and I
her.
understand that.
And then they broke out in amazing grace.
Yep.
I don't think that was a lie.
Okay. So you guys can sit here and say that you don't think that he,
I never said
if
that.
stretching the truth is a lie, then he lies.
I'm not-
If
yeah,
he
I'm
says
sure he has
things,
said something that's not
Let's
true.
put it
but-
this way. I have never known a politician who didn't
okay,
exaggerate.
that isn't what I'm saying, Paul. I'm saying this guy. You
He's
know,
a business-
truly, they
he's
all
not even-
have, and he's a businessman, a successful one. But that might be part of the reason he's successful.
Go
Would
back
he
through
be a
all the
friend of
presidents and
yours
tell
if
me
he
any of them
lived?
didn't lie.
Now, I worked with a lot of developers in my life.
Obama was lying half.
They look
Okay,
for
well,
every
you're
angle.
deflecting, Bill. You're not.
Well,
You're,
that's
not,
what he
you're,
is.
you're basically
Lying.
answering that
No,
yes, he
no,
does.
I do not know him to have done any lies.
Okay.
But I may not have it right.
I don't want him to.
We all fall short of the glory of God.
Well,
so
absolutely, but
it's no different than anybody else.
I think his
we all
mouth
struggle
is a
with
real
certain
problem.
things, though. I
Yeah,
love
you
the
should
guy.
read Proverbs as it speaks to the tongue.
Sometimes he says the right things too. He stands up for
There
things.
is no question about that, and that's the side of him that I like.
I'll take that over the last
He's
guy.
definitely human.
Well, at least he didn't have a young
Last
lady.
guy
that
was
ruined
He's
her
definitely human.
He didn't know he was
not a-
lying.
I think you
Now,
find
that's a
anything
real
about
one.
anybody.
I think it would be really difficult to be in that
I don't know.
position.
You guys seem to be deceiving yourselves a little bit. If you, I don't know. I mean, as much as I don't care for what he does, I think he's been a pretty darn good president. I don't necessarily like some of the way he represents me.
Well, nobody does
Like what he does because he stands up for what.
Well, and that's right. And I like a lot of
And
that.
he's one of the very few guys who ran for president and said what they were going to do and then never did it. He does what he says he's going to do.
Promises made, promises kept.
Fights. Yeah.
Those
Fights.
aren't lies.
And politics is a dirty business, so, you know. Yeah.
Apparently,
Absolutely.
I think
Very
I have to
dirty
accept
business. That's what
some
I'm
things.
saying.
You have to accept some
I think
things.
sometimes he does what
Because
he
they're
has
not
to
really.
do.
this is
not-
really
it's not
on
your
the
thing.
subject of
It's like-
Proverbs.
I just like the results. I'm good with the results. So.
You guys wanted to talk about it. You brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we brought it up.
You guys forced me.
Twisted your arm again.
All right, I'm sorry.
He's outnumbered.
Never say anything
Big
about
time.
our president.
Oh.
See, I'm calling him our president.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Are you praying for him every day as instructed by the
You know, I
book?
don't every day, but I do. I don't every day.
That's better than me.
We're to pray for him first.
I pray for him to
Thanks
shut
for
up.
reminding me. I probably needed that every morning.
Why would you want him to shut up, Paul? Never mind. Never
He
mind.
doesn't
Oh.
lie. He
Never
says
mind.
the things that hurt.
Okay.
We'll be in Proverbs for about 12 years.
You know,
It's not a race.
Not a race.
Not a race.
You developers, you know the deal.
Oh my, huh?
He's an imperfect man, but he's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Developers are always looking for an
You know, I do know somebody that has met him and personally that has spent some time around him, and I'll say, you know, this is the other side, and that he's a pretty good guy. But still, I don't like the tactics he uses. I think there are other ways to get things done, but maybe there isn't in the world of politics.
I think a lot of that comes from listening to the media.
Yeah.
The ones that absolutely hate him with such a passion. All they want
And
to
they
do is
twist
totally
everything.
destroy it, just like they did Brett Kavanaugh. They don't care
Think
anything
about
about
that.
the man. They just
Man of
people
God.
that do that.
he's in the road,
Kavanaugh's a great
stumbling block for them, and they want to totally destroy him. And they're convincing about 50% of the American people by listening to their spewing their hatred on the media. People are believing it. I hear people talking about him being a racist. Show me one thing that he's done that's racist.
Yeah,
That's right.
Been the
One
opposite
single
all the time.
solitary thing. One lie that he's told that was not maybe in a negotiating position where he had to maybe twist the truth a little bit to get his negotiating skills in line.
Presented from a different angle. Right.
You know, I had an opportunity to. This is really a good opportunity. I have a relative here from Germany, and I talked to her Wednesday, and it came up. Hey, how, you know, I asked her how Germany's doing, and, you know, they got a lot of issues with the refugees and crime, the whole bit. And then we started talking about our president, and she said that she noticed, and they're very smart people, they like to just not take what they hear and go with it. So they go to American news, they go to German news, BBC, the whole bit. And she noticed that how the media twists things around, and they find out it's actually different when they go to other sources. And she was totally with me on that. It's like, okay, great, I'm glad you are educating yourself and you actually know. So it's not everybody. I always thought that everybody in Europe thought totally different because they get the same feed. No, there are people out there that think.
Glad she's right thinking. Now we don't have to send ice to your house.
It was nice to hear. I mean, it was nice to hear that
That's
other people actually notice it too.
Yeah,
Well,
I was
look at France.
riding the bike. There's one last
You know,
thing.
a lot of these
I was riding the
countries
bike in the gym,
countries
and I looked
love
over and
Trump.
somebody was watching
Yes.
CNN.
There you
And
go.
a tagline on CNN is, Pentagon refuses to send troops to border. That's the that line was there the whole time I rode that bike. But you know what? This is the President of the United States. In my own experience as an officer in the Army, I swore a duty to do exactly what I was told by the President of the United States. And those
Commander-in-Chief.
admirals and generals,
Exactly.
they have sworn the same thing. And that pissed me off to this day. Because that was not true. It was not true. It was an absolute lie. And that's what you're
Yeah, no
getting.
shade in that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
I can swear to it. I swore that on these. And so did they.
You're talking about Vietnam?
Anywhere, all officers take exactly the same oath.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, the Constitution and the President.
Absolutely. Commander-in-chief.
Commander-in-Chief.
Do elected officials do
I
the
think
same
what
thing?
you're here, I think what you're
No, I get
on with the media, everything that you're inundated with makes it hard to even make a decision on whether he's a
Constitution.
liar or not. Because
Army's
I
different.
don't,
Because he's
I don't see
commander-in-chief,
anywhere
so
that
it's-
he's lied. You know, myself, but I think it's the media that causes that.
I'm wrong.
If you didn't have the media and you were just going on what he did,
I
you wouldn't think
How
that.
many millions of dollars has this Robert Mueller spent,
Oh.
taxpayer money, trying to find anything on him? And for 2 years now, they haven't found a single solitary thing.
Millions.
about
Yeah,
any
and
truth.
they're gonna
this
kick it up
morning-
again. They're gonna kick it
This
up
morning,
again.
Mueller is now going to indict Julian Assange for something else. That has nothing to do with Russia.
Honestly, like,
What the hell?
I don't know what it would be like. I guess you could try and take the high road in that position. I don't know how it would work out. You know, he took the road he's taken, and all of this stuff is working out the way it
Powder
is.
Give you an
punch.
example of how
But I
far
know
down-
that he had to keep the devil from taking the throne, so
Look
I'm
at
good with
George
that.
W. Bush, how
Yeah,
nice and
that was his job.
proper and everything he was.
Mhm.
Look at Mitt Romney, how nice and proper and everything he was.
He got rolled over.
Nothing was done.
Got ran over.
Democrats just totally destroyed
Obama
him.
ran over
Now
him
we've got
big
somebody
time.
standing up on his hind heels and fighting and biting back, and they don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
They
You know,
can't figure out how to get rid of this guy.
We're very suspect to the media.
Yeah.
You guys watch the local news, right? There was this guy, I don't know, remember his name. He said he was switching parties. He supported cinema. and all
Grant
that.
Woods.
Right. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So the news said
Oh,
the
Wood?
reason,
Really
one of
cared
his
for him.
reasons was that a president who says that the opposition is the enemy just totally turned him off. Well, I thought about it and I go, no, that's not what the president ever said. He said the media is the enemy, and he's absolutely right, because we're just talking about what the media does. So that's the kind of stuff I hear. I'm like, what do you do about that? You know, all you can do is tell other people, hey, you know, if you think this, here's what really is. Or it's just, it's very sad. It's very.
The whole progressive plan
you
is to
can't
taint
take the high
public
road.
opinion.
What do you do?
And they were successful.
Yeah. you just,
Well, I always say if you tell a lie long enough, it'll eventually become the truth.
there you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
That's what they believe.
Long enough and loud enough.
Not for me.
Socrates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. All right.
Shall we move
Shall we
on?
move on?
No, let's just keep wallowing in this.
I will be posting this at any.
Come on, you guys have more to say. That's cigar,
How do you
cigar
really
shop.
feel?
Cigar shop talk. Happy if I'm wrong. That's
I
right.
apologize for my over.
No, that's
I understand it was a
fine.
bad
No
motion.
apologies are required, guys. That's what we're here for.
I don't think you're wrong.
No, you're good.
Like I said, I think everybody lies at one point
Okay,
or the other.
Exaggeration,
a
lying.
bribe, a bribe is seen as a charm by the one who gives it. They think success will come at every turn. A bribe is seen as a charm by the one who gives it, okay. They think success will come at every turn.
There's politics again.
Yeah. Whoever would foster love covers over an offense, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. Whoever would foster love covers over offense, But whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. Whoever repeats the matter separates close friends.
Awesome.
All right, let me read what this says. Maybe, all right. This proverb is saying that we should be willing to forgive others' sins against us. Covering our offenses is covering over our offenses is necessary to any relationship. It is tempting, especially in an argument, to bring up all the mistakes the other person has ever made. Love, however, keeps its mouth shut, difficult though it may be. Try never to bring anything into an argument that is unrelated to the topic being discussed.
Sounds like we're all ex-wife.
As we grow to be like Christ,
House lived, John.
we will acquire God's
He already
ability
did.
to forget the confessed sins of the past. Okay?
In fact, he even told me it wasn't going to work.
Game over.
Whatever is
Steve.
said in counseling stays in counseling.
Well, unless he flirts it, then he's good.
If you could dwell on what we've been forgiven of, it seems pretty irrelevant to things that we refuse to forgive our brothers about.
Amen to that.
I'm like Paul, I'm chief sinner of all men. That's the way I view myself. Kind of like the publican out in the street praying, wouldn't even raise his eyes to God and said, "Forgive me because I'm a sinner." And the Pharisee out there standing up, beating his breast and saying, "I'm sure glad I'm not like Ray over here."
It's a good example.
That's wrong. Remember, that's wrong.
That's why I said Ray, because I was going to say it's not wrong.
So the modern version,
Messenger.
Is that a media spin on Ron?
the modern version says, "You will keep your friends if you forgive them, but you will lose them if you keep talking about what they did wrong."
Yep.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
exactly. Sure, Joseph.
You're absolutely right. With what we have been forgiven, we have no place to be judging somebody else.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, absolutely.
A rebuke impresses a discerning person more than 100 lashes a fool. A rebuke impresses a discerning person more than 100 lashes a fool. What does yours say, your tense?
A sensible person accepts correction, but you can't beat sense into a fool.
Good.
That's very good.
That's very good.
Oh.
Evildoers foster rebellion against God. The messenger of death will be sent against them.
There you go.
That's pretty heavy duty there, huh?
That's a club.
Rebellion against God results in death.
There you go.
Better to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool bent on folly.
It's pretty severe.
Evil will never leave the house of one who pays back evil for good.
I gotta back up on something here. I got a
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
Evildoers foster rebellion against God. The messenger of death will be sent against him. James, if you had a situation where you were, you're on a mission from God, right? You're spreading the word, and you were doing your duty, preaching, teaching, and somebody from the side comes in and blocks you, interferes with what you're trying to do or whatever. Have you ever had them actually die afterwards?
Yes.
So why? Actually, yes.
That girl that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
I have, and you know, it's not about you or whatever, but you know that you're on a mission from God. You're serving God. You're trying to stay upright and true and stay on path. And every now and then you get, tapped, pushed back on path and stuff like that. Sometimes you get God smacked. But anyway, they just within a month or two, they've got cancer and they're gone. I just wanted to bring that up, you know. It's kind of interesting, you know. You feel bad for the person, you feel bad for the situation, you know. You pray for, I guess, your enemies and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, wow, God's got my back, you know. As long as I stay true to Him, He'll stay true to me, you know. It's pretty amazing.
One of the most horrible experiences I had to deal with. A person we considered to be a close friend that we had also asked to be put in our will to take care of our kids if anything happened to us. Sent out an anonymous letter to everyone in our congregation and other churches saying that I was sleeping with my counselees.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
You were sleeping with who?
My counselees, people I was counseling, women I was counseling. That was a horrendous experience.
I can imagine.
And nobody knew who sent this letter. I didn't know who sent the letter at the time. And one Sunday morning, a lady got up and said, I have a word from God. The person who has done this needs to confess and repent, or God will
Strike them down.
smite them.
bring him out and announce to everybody who he is, and we'll deal with him. And there was silence. She walked over to this elder in our church and said, you are the man. Nobody knew who it was. I didn't know who it was.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Terrible.
And he died. He died.
Like on the spot, a week later, got cancer or a heart attack.
Shortly after.
Shortly after, yeah.
But the other thing that happened is nothing came of it, despite how vicious it was. Nothing came of it. God had my back.
Well,
And one thing God said to me, like a lamb led to the slaughter, he opened not his mouth. And I did not open my mouth. I did not fight it. I didn't do anything except continue to stand for truth and righteousness. Pardon me?
Did you ever talk to him about it?
Tried to,
What was his reason for doing
Yeah.
that?
never found out.
Wow.
Never found out. That was a horrible experience.
Terrible.
What, you mentioned Kavanaugh?
so that not just mess with your reputation or everything, but
exactly
your.
what I was thinking of when he was going through this.
Oh,
What a horrible experience for him.
I've had that actually happen. Well, there's been a few instances. There was actually a pastor or a preacher, a pretty good one. And he said something that offended me. It hurt me, you know, and I was on the right path or whatever. Very next day, he breaks his ankle. And they had to, like, put screws in to hold his foot in and all that stuff. He just avoided me after that. Thought I was a demon or something like that, you know.
Don't mess with angels.
I'm like another gal, very short. I was having a spiritual conversation with a friend of mine from work who's a good guy, and I've known him for 4 years now, and he used to smoke cigarettes when we first met. Then he switched to cigars, stopped smoking cigarettes, and still smokes cigars on occasion. But we were having a spiritual conversation during break at work, and this person came up and interfered with it and offended us, actually hurt, you know, kind of hurt us, kind of hurt me. And it wasn't long after she got cancer. And then apparently it was her second time. And, you know, the next thing I hear, she has like 2 weeks. The next thing I come into work like 4 days later, she died, gone. And it's happened another time also. Wasn't something like that. It was just a path was opened up for me. You know, I needed something, and this person just, you know.
Well, something that's going on right now, current events. Look at this lawyer, Mike, on the body.
Oh, Caminetti?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
He was saying that you had to prove your innocence. But now look at the situation he's in.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
When he
ironic.
first came out and says, well, she hit me first, and then he comes out and says, I've never laid a hand on a woman in my life.
Mm.
He's,
I think I
he's
pictures of her
He
bruised
wants
up
some people
themselves
to
too.
believe that because he's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. That wasn't the case when he was in cahoots with,
Yep.
it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
what's Diane Feinstein?
This it's kind of a testament, though. We stay on path. We stay on the path of righteousness, or focused on it. You know, trying to spread the word. Nobody wants to go to heaven alone, right? I don't want to go to heaven alone. I want to bring as many with me as I can. Keep them. It's not me. It's it's about God. And I just find it interesting that the path just keeps getting cleared. Pretty amazing, actually.
The cooperative process is starting on coals. The sun comes up and evaporates and begins, and the desert is, you wouldn't think there would be nothing left to evaporate. But here we go.
The interesting part about all this is, when you get this false testimony against yourself, if you're living in faith, you hope to get the wisdom whether or not to react. Or, for example, Jim, you did not react. That was perfect. But your initial reaction is, when you get kicked, is you kick back harder. But
Honestly, you were probably so hurt you just didn't know what to say. Like, just, I would imagine that would be, that's your livelihood too, your PhDs and everything, and counseling people and all that stuff, pastoring, everything. It's,
That'd be terrible. What your wife was thinking, what was going through her head.
Yes, your marriage, all of that stuff impacted.
Another miracle that took place in that, I was totally devastated by it, because that's the furthest thing. When I got married, I covenanted with God that I would never have anything to do sexually with another woman. That was my covenant, and I asked him to keep me on the track so that would never happen. Never has, but I was totally devastated by it. My wife was away that Sunday. I went out and I bought a bottle, and I sat down drinking the bottle, sitting there in an old t-shirt in my living room watching CBN. Ben Kinchlow, I don't know if you know the guy, beautiful man of God, tall, strong, black guy, precious servant of the Lord. He was on CBN that day. And he said, I have a word from the Lord. There's a pastor out there that's suffering really badly right now. Sitting in his living room in his t-shirt, drinking a bottle.
You're watching this, right?
oh, Lord.
Oh my God.
And he said,
The bottle drops to the floor.
he said,
Jaw with
Pastor, God is going to take care of your situation. Be of peace. Put the bottle away.
Mm.
I hadn't touched booze for many, many years before that. But that was an awesome experience in the midst of the crisis.
Yeah.
Did you find the camera?
That's bad.
God talking to you.
Yeah.
You get the current. TV's got a
That's
camera.
pretty amazing.
That's cool.
Yep.
Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out.
That's what we should have done a minute ago.
That's what I was trying to do.
No, you did try. It was my
Guys, quitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, the Lord detests them both.
Here we go.
Yep.
Uh-oh, Ron, that's what
That
we
might
got.
start
That's
again.
what we're.
Oh my gosh, this might be my last visit.
Don't say
with you
anything.
Game over, Ron.
guys. Why should fools have money in hand to buy wisdom when they are not able to understand it?
Perfect.
Okay, here you go, guys. A friend loves at all times. Okay, we're done. A brother is born for a time of adversity. One who has no sense shakes hands in pledge and puts up security for a neighbor. Whoever loves a quarrel loves sin. Whoever builds a high gate invites destruction. One whose heart is corrupt does not prosper. One whose tongue is
Perverse.
falls into trouble. Let me read that again. I'm sorry.
Perverse tongue.
One whose heart is corrupt does not prosper. One whose tongue is perverse falls into trouble. To have a fool for a child brings grief. There is no joy for a parent of a godless fool. Cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. A crushed spirit dries up the bones.
Let's stop there. Merry heart doeth good like a medicine. There is a reality that positive thinking and laughter actually brings healing to the body. And they've done studies on this. There are actually groups where people get together and feign laughter, and they have found out that feigned laughter works just as good as real laughter as far as its healing properties. It really changes the body chemistry.
There you go.
It's a fact.
I agree.
I get up in the morning with the beer and say,
A merry heart doeth good like a medicine.
gotta laugh at yourself in the mirror. That's what stuff. Anymore.
I try not to look in the mirror.
Yeah. Last thing I've been looking at.
No little
5 in
mirror
the
in my
morning.
bathroom.
You and me both, man.
Oh,
You guys remember the debate between Ronald Reagan and Walter Mondale?
yeah.
Where they were talking about Reagan's age and stating that and everybody just cracked up.
Yeah.
The guy that was Mondale's campaign manager used to be on the 5, big heavy set guy.
Bob Beckel.
Yeah, Bob Beckel.
Yeah.
Says that was the turning point in that election. I think. Reagan came out and said he was going to use the youth as his competitors.
Yeah, he wouldn't hold his youth against
for
him.
political gain.
Mhm.
Wouldn't hold Mondale's youth against him. That was great.
That was
Yeah.
something that you're talking about there. When I was a young man in the Marine Corps and thought I was invincible and everything, we'd go to my in-law's house and have
I call him Bon Jovi Craig.
suppers and dinners and stuff like that. And there was always a lot of drinking going on. There was a lot of drinking going on. There was a lot of strife happening. My uncle had a little box. I'd get anything if I still had it. It was canned laughter. And you turn that thing on and this guy would start laughing. And it wasn't 1 minute until everybody in that room who was fighting and biting each other on the back was down on the floor rolling around because that laughing box. And this guy had the most infectious laugh, and it just continually go on and on and on, and you couldn't fight with anybody while you was listening to this guy. And you'd only bring that box out and set it on the bar.
Yeah, Jim, I had one that was called a laugh box. It was voice activated.
Yeah.
And if you set it off, it starts howling.
I'd give anything if I could find one of those things again.
Laughter.
Oh, man.
The wicked accept bribes in secret to pervert the course of justice.
There we go. That Pelosi?
Hillary Clinton.
A discerning person keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. Foolish son brings grief to his father and bitterness to the mother who bore him. If imposing a fine on the innocent is not good, surely to flog honest officials is not right. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues.
More talk about the tongue.
Yes. Tongues and lying.
Sometimes the tongue is mightier than the sword.
That's why Revelations talks about the Lord comes and letting a sword out of his mouth.
Double-edged sword, yeah.
Yep.
Words of war. Hot. They run hot and cold, good to good, evil to
We
evil.
have the ability to comprehend Genesis talking about how God sustains this whole universe by his word alone.
Yeah.
He sustains us with his word. Gives life with his word.
So important to keep life and wisdom in our mouth and hold the tongue from speaking things that should not be spoken.
Amen. We should begin to stay again.
James has a good orientation about the tongue, comparing it to rudders of ships and
Yep.
bits of horses. Controlling how the tongue can start a mighty fire.
Like James. It's a good. It's a
A
good
lot of wisdom in James too.
Yeah.
A lot of wisdom
It's
in
very
James. Yep. It's a powerful book.
And it says the two James. All right, 18. We got about 10 minutes. Who wants to read?
I lost my.
I'll read it.
Can't get it.
Whoever I've got a different version of it. It's the ESV, which I really like. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. Yeah. When wickedness comes, contempt comes also, and with dishonor comes disgrace. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The fountain of wisdom is a bubbling brook. It is not good to be partial to the wicked, or to deprive the righteous of justice. It is not good to be partial. A fool's lips walk into a fight, and his mouth invites a beating. I don't know what the NIV says on that. What's your NIV say?
Yeah, see.
Verse 6.
We'll bring the strife.
What verse is
The
that?
mouth.
Verse 6.
26.
Advice of beating, yeah, same thing. Yeah,
That's
pretty good.
almost sounds.
King
Somebody
James.
wrote it yesterday.
A thumping.
Let me see what the King James version says.
It's got to be the first funny thing I've read in this book.
That's very good.
Oh, no, it's
That's
gonna
great.
happen.
The King James version says, "A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes."
Thumping.
He's getting hit. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are a snare to his soul. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body. Whoever is slack in his work is a brother to him who destroys. I'm gonna get that one.
being lazy is no different than being a troublemaker?
The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous man runs into it and is safe. A rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. Before destruction of man's heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. Wow, I did that the other day.
Well, I do that all.
Oh, boy. Yeah, guilty.
That's a
Be
big
quick
header.
to listen, slow to speak,
Yeah,
and slow to anger.
Back to James again?
Back to James
Yeah,
again.
we gotta reread that one.
I just did that the other day with Gary in the shop. I had said it's going to be a high. The high is going to be 38 in Hebrew today. And he goes, "Well, I just talked to Dave, who's a guy up there that we know." He goes, "It was 16 the other day." Well, in the day it was never 16, and all I heard was that was like the high.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, it wasn't. It's never been." Because I look at Hebrew weather every day. But the day that it snowed about a month ago, it probably did get down to 16 in the morning, and he got mad at me, and so I ended up apologizing to him. And, you know, it was my fault, man. I spoke before I thought.
Yeah.
Isn't James the book of the Bible that more people wanted to get?
Yes, it is. He thought it should not be in the Bible.
And that was verse 23 or something like that. Chapter 2 was like.
He didn't think Revelation should be in the Bible either.
Kevin,
where
how
did
many
I
books
leave
are there in
off?
the
I
Protestant King
forget
James
what
Bible?
that verse
14.
How many books are there?
14.
In
A
which
man's spirit will
King
endure
James
sickness.
Protestant Bible.
King
But
James
a crushed
66.
spirit who can
There's
bear-
72
who
in
can
Cal.
bear.
Oh, really? Read them all.
I got a question mark after that.
Yeah.
Read everything.
Crushed
And,
spirit who can bear.
you know,
I think about that
An
the other day.
intelligent heart acquires knowledge.
Enoch
and
was a
the
pretty
ear-
good
the
guy.
ear of the
His
wise
book's
seeks
not in
knowledge.
there.
I should look up which one.
Here it
before.
is.
Give me a
Verse
comparison.
24. You see that a person is
Tell me
justified by
which
what
books.
he does.
I will.
And not by faith.
There'll be 6 of them.
Yep.
That made him upset. He like that.
He thought James was based too much on works and not enough on grace.
And that, you know,
So it shouldn't be in the Bible.
got there anyway.
Married a nun, right? Didn't he marry a nun?
The one who states his case first seems
Yeah.
right,
And he's
until
getting
the other
none.
comes and examines him. The
Mm.
lot puts an end to quarrels and decides between powerful contenders. A brother offended is more unyielding than a strong city, and quarreling is like the bars of a castle. From the fruit of a man's mouth, his stomach is satisfied. He is satisfied by the yield of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. The poor use entreaties, but the rich answer roughly. What's your version say there, Ron, on that one?
Which one?
The poor
Plead
plead
for
for mercy, but the rich answer harshly.
A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
How true is that?
Yeah.
It's a good place to stop.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting that. So cool.
Good discussion.
In other words, don't point out the splinter in somebody's eye when you've got a plank in yours.
Right. Right.
Keep your mouth shut.
Is that Mark or Matthew?
You know those people that talk about certain books that the Bible shouldn't be in there should read 2 Timothy 3:16 says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and for instruction in righteousness, that a man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished for all good works.
James certainly fits that category.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Everybody talks about who the author of Hebrews is. No one really knows for sure, but Timothy, I think, tells who the author of Hebrews is. It's God.
God. Yep.
Okay, time. Time for prayer.
You rent them?
God Almighty, we come before you as brothers. We stand before your throne, trembling in reverent fear of your majesty and your might, your righteousness, your justice. You were sent to go forth into all the world and teach your word, converting people, having them know about the good news, the gospel which you've given us through your Son Jesus, who came and gave himself as a sacrifice, pure and holy, unblemished for us, for the sins of all men, as on a mountain pyramid, it goes backwards and it goes forwards, cleansing everything in its path, for those who will accept his righteousness. We ask that we will continue to try to do your will in all the things that we do, our speech and our actions, because we know that each man will give account for his words and for his deeds. We pray that they will all be in accordance with your will, not our own. We ask you to be with us through this day, go with us through the remainder of this week. Help us to do the things that are right. Be between us and the evil one, and protect us from his flaming darts. Forgive us our sin. In Christ's name.
Amen.
Thank you. Question, we are meeting next Friday?
Yep.
Good. It'll be a pre-Black Friday shoppings.
Oh, we could start before we come. Well, we could have all
Start at midnight.
right.
Oh, God.
Bring the heaters.